Спасибо.
From Belarus, total time 1 minute 57 seconds. Obstacle penalties 120. Total riding points 920. Total points in the competition so far 2,808. The next athlete may now enter the riding course. Now riding Koslova from Ukraine, riding Lanus Duhikon.
Hello, my name is Neil Harvey and I'd like to welcome you to stage 2 of this year's World Cup series of modern pentathlon. Our coverage coming to you this week from Rio de Janeiro, the second major city of Brazil, but of course about to be the #1 city in 3 years' time when it hosts the Summer Olympics, the first time a South American city will have had that honour. So let's catch up with the latest action so far on the morning of the women's final. The fencing, of course, the first event to take place. And there's quite a drama that's been unfolding in the early events in Rio. We have a surprise leader. I think it's not too much to say at this stage. Just to remember, 1 minute bouts, that's 35 bouts for each competitor. First, Jelena Rublievska there, who's had a solid start. She had 24 victories, 11 defeats. Rublievska, the Latvian, a strong fencer, powered off in the first half of the event. She was leading at halfway. She would have been expecting this kind of performance. It is by far her strongest event. Rublievska, oldest competitor on the World Cup stage. Still got some of the ability, it seems, that's required to make it at the top. Jana Marquez of Brazil, obviously on home ground, and she will be strongly fancied. She's a 3 times Pan American champion, and having won twice in Rio, a lot will be expected from her. Marquez finishing the fencing in 8th place with 20 victories. This is the woman that everybody's probably expecting to take away the gold. Lara Asadurskaya, the Olympic champion, the European champion last year. She's the World Cup final winner. She could do no wrong in 2012. And she did very little wrong in the fencing as well. Joint 2nd place. 24 victories, 11 defeats. Puts her in a commanding position after the first event. Now, Victoria Tereshchuk looking a little bit down. She shouldn't be too disheartened. Obviously, the winner in Palm Springs last month. It was a solid, if unspectacular performance from Tereshchuk. The Ukrainian in 11th position after defending 19 victories. Puts her in the sort of situation she would probably be content with. It keeps her in contention with the leaders. Such a strong runner, so good in the combined. For her, it's all about just staying in contention through the first 3 events. And here's Donata Rimsaitya, the Russian, 6th after the fencing. 21 victories, very solid performance. Again, someone who's kept herself in with a very good chance, a strong fencer and a strong runner. She qualified top of Group B in Rio, so showing strong signs of form. The leader, though, was Tatyana Yelizarova, followed by surprise package Octavia Novachka. 2 people who really weren't expected to do quite so much. Certainly not Novachka. Now, this is a ghost competitor who's hardly been seen for 2 years.
Yes, because I'm after operation of my knee. I had reconstruction ACL, and this is my first start after this pausa. Okay, and I'm so happy.
I'm very happy to win do fencing.
So there you have it, a surprise leader to say the very least after the fencing, Octavia Novachka of Poland, who hasn't competed in a recognised event for 2 years, 22 years old, and only just scraped through in the qualifying session, 17th in a heat. One of the very last people I think anybody would have expected to see topping things after the fencing. On to the pool now, and a chance for some of the big names to make up some ground. And we'll start with the very first heat. This is the weaker swimmers who have been grouped together according to their qualifying times. Tatyana Yelizarova in this one, as well as Yelena Rublievska and Yekaterina Khuraskina. And all said and done, this was a pretty poor showing by some ladies who've done very well in the fencing. Rublievska finished down in 35th, Khuraskina 34th, Yelizarova undoing that magnificent performance in the fencing, down in 32nd by the end of the swim. So this is going a long way to show just how important it is in the modern pentathlon to have that all-round ability. A strong showing in the fencing from Yelizarova, but dropping her down to 8th place overall by the end of the swim. Khuraskina, 8th after the fence, 34th in the swim. She drops to 21st overall. In this next heat of the swimming, we have Laura Asadowskaitė was waiting to take part in that one. Not the strongest swimmer, but one of those who would be looking to sort of finish in the top half of the field just to maintain her strong start to the competition. Octavia Novachka, considered from what little is known of her to be a fairly solid swimmer. Again, someone who would just be looking to consolidate the situation after such a fantastic start. Swim, remember, 200 meters freestyle. A lot of the people who take part, especially the younger competitors in the pentathlon, start out as swimmers, often picked up at college and persuaded to develop their skills, see if these people can also ride a horse and shoot. And as we saw the end of the weakest heat there, here were the fancied names: Asadauskaitje, Olympic, world champion, European champion, and the young unknown Oktavia Navachka, back from injury after 2 years out. Perhaps people would have expected Navachka to struggle in this. So little known about her, but very solid performance. 2 minutes and 17 seconds, which was on a par with the sort of times that she'd been posting back in 2011 when she was last seen competing. And that would be enough to see her manage 13th position in the swim, and enough to keep her in top spot overall. Laura Asadauskaitje, a time of 2 minutes 19 seconds. Not quite as good as Navachka, but again, 18th position would see her hang on to 3rd place overall. The interesting thing about Navachka, if you look for her in the record books, you'll struggle to find her, but some of the information that's out there, which if you dig deeply enough, suggests maybe we could have foreseen this kind of performance. If you look back to her last recorded effort back in 2011 in a junior championship, it's the European Junior Championship. She finished down in 21st position. Now that wasn't a particularly strong showing, but just 1 week earlier than that, she'd also performed in the Polish Junior Championship. The results not on the official website, but she just lost out in a very close finish in Poland to somebody who's now considered one of the, if not the, top youngster in modern pentathlon, Margot Isaacson of America, who posted a strong finish last month in Palm Springs. So some evidence there to suggest that Navachka maybe is going to be a consistent figure at the top of pentathlon for years to come. And grouped by ability, that brought the very strongest swimmers to the pool for the final heat, including Victoria Tereshchuk, the winner last month, of course, in Palm Springs, and the world champion of 2011. Seems to be getting better with age, Tereshchuk, the Ukrainian, now 31, but doing a lot of her best performances in the last couple of years, it seems. Also in this heat for the strongest swimmers, Elodie Clouvel, the French competitor, 24 years old, the world number 28. Swimming, definitely one of her strongest events. Almost qualified for the French Olympic swim team outright back in 2008. So she would always expect to put in a strong performance here. And last but not least, the reigning champion in Rio won this World Cup Series event in 2012. Every incentive for her to put in another strong showing. As it was, Clouvel did it again, fastest in the pool. That would raise her to 11th place overall. Tereshchuk, again, solid performance in the pool after the 11th in the fencing, 17th in the swim. And that keeps her where she wants to be, in the top half, 14th overall for Victoria Tereshchuk. And with a margin of less than 40 seconds behind the leader, such an inexperienced leader in Octavia Novacka, you would think that Tereshchuk will be feeling extremely confident that she can overhaul that kind of margin as they go into the riding, and then the combined, which of course is Tereshchuk's forte. Just looking at some of the competitors who maybe didn't put in such a showing as they would have hoped for. Melanie McCann, who'd qualified in the top 3 of Canada, down in 24th after the first 2 events. Margot Isaacson, who we already mentioned, who just pipped out Novacka a couple of years ago in a junior event, down in 19th. But it really was all about Octavia Novacka in the first couple of events.
Well, I had a big break throughout the winter. I was resting, and this year I'm studying a lot to finish my degree. So my time is really divided differently than last year. I study a lot and I enjoy myself and relax, and I'm training a little bit too. Hopefully throughout the season I'll progress and get strong again. But at the moment my priority is to finish my studies and to keep enjoying pentathlon.
And that was Britain's Samantha Murray, we were just hearing from there, who sneaked in under the radar to take 2nd place overall. Nothing spectacular from Murray. 6th in the fencing, 4th in the swim, but it was that kind of consistency that's making her one of the top contenders these days on the World Cup Series. Novacka, the shock leader, nobody thought she was going to be there. Asadalskaja, everybody expected her to be there. She holds 3rd place after the first 2 events. Tereshchuk, as we mentioned, ominously positioned in 14th, within touching distance, 37 seconds, nothing to a woman of her speed when it comes to the combined. And as we look down, these are the ladies who really are going to have to pull something out as we progress into the second half. It's going to need a perfect ride from some of these women, and then a very fast performance over the cross country if they are to make it onto the podium. So onto the riding arena. In the riding, you start with 1,200 points. You can't get any more than that, but you certainly can lose points. 40 points for every knockdown. Similar penalties for refusals. And of course, certain restrictions on the riders. They can't afford to refuse more than twice, or that would see them disqualified. A difficult situation. If you go on some of the comment sections on the Modern Pentathlon, you'll see experienced riders criticising what they see in this event. But you have to remember, first of all, these are competitors who are all-round skills, not specialist riders. Some are very good, but it's difficult to be good in all 4 at the very highest level. Some very decent riders. And throw into that equation the fact that they only get to know their horses 20 minutes before riding them. And even the most veteran of riders, I think, would understand that this is quite a stiff task that they face. So, starting off with 18th place competitor, Priscila Oliveira of Brazil. And she will have had just 20 minutes to get acquainted with her ride. 5 practice jumps, and it's thrown in the deep end. Good form over the first 2 jumps from Oliveira. Slightly clumsy landing, but holds it together. Oh, again, just struggling to hang on there. But most important thing, clean through so far. Oliveira making it look very easy, and this an example of how somebody slightly off the pace at this stage could suddenly find themselves moving up the table very quickly with a good, clear round. Oliveira, one of the outsiders for this pentathlon, but putting in a fantastic showing on her horse here. And that's it, it's a clear round, and you can't do any more than that. The time looks pretty good, and the Brazilian will certainly be in a higher position than 18th come the end of the riding. So, Priscilla Oliveira. Apologies there, slight loss of picture. Priscilla Oliveira, for now, moves into the lead with a clear round, and that will have put some pressure on the next rider to come, Kate French of Great Britain, in 17th position. Cinderella the horse, will it be a Cinderella ride from French? Good start. And there's the first knockdown for French. Managing to keep it together. Clipped a couple early on, but not too much damage so far. Nicely done through that section. Another knockdown.
French from Great Britain, time 1 minute 3 seconds. Obstacle penalties 120 points. Riding points 1,080. Total points so far 3,056. You are in 4th place.
And there the damage done by those two knockdowns, 80 penalty points. No time penalties, quick around the course, but also costly with the knockdowns.
Now riding Bian from China, riding Conjit du Rincon.
Here comes Yufei Bian of China next. 16th after the swim. Every knockdown, 40-point penalty, the equivalent of 10 seconds in time come the combined. So a lot to make up, illustrating the very significant aspect of the riding section. A bad ride and really your competition is as good as over. Off to a good start. Another clipped pole there, but just keeping hold of the horse. Very nicely through the triple O, but she's lost it. Had done so well to make it through the combination, but lost her balance on landing, and that's going to cost her the dismount. That's going to be a penalty of 40 points. Holding it together so nicely, all the hard work done, just lost her grip on the reins and down on the floor. And that's a penalty, not to mention all the time it's cost her to get back on the horse and regain her composure. Not a disastrous ride at this point, but she has to maintain her composure for the rest of this ride. Having to G the horse up a little bit. rider and horse a little bit tentative now, and down goes another. A very difficult ride there for Bian, holding it together probably as well as she could have done after the fall. And there'll be time penalties on top of that.
From China, time 1 minute 35 seconds. Obstacle penalties 80 points and 112 for time. Total riding points 1,008. Total points in the competition so far 2,988.
And whilst not a disaster, not too far away from being one, and a very, very good example of how your efforts in the pool and the fence can just slip through your fingers with a bad ride. Latvia's Jelena Rublievska now. Riding Lemon, remember the horse is drawn completely at random for the pentathletes. You don't know what you'll get until you're out there on the course. Looks to be struggling a little bit with the horse there, going up to the first, but keeping it together. "36 years old, Jelena Rublievska. And tomorrow, actually a birthday. She'll be 37 tomorrow. She'll be looking for something to cheer her up, but it's really not going how she would have hoped so far. Normally quite a solid rider, Rublievska, but this is the example of what happens when a rider gets a horse they're not well acquainted with and the two just don't gel. Well, it's going from bad to worse now for Rublievska. And if it is a birthday tomorrow, I suggest she might well be having a few drinks just to take her mind off what's happened here. Oh, piles through that one.
Rublievska from Latvia, time 1 minute 11 seconds. Obstacle penalties 320 and 16 for time. Total points for the competition so far 2,844.
Well, that's very sad for Jelena Rublievska. Like I said, about to celebrate her birthday, a very solid performer. She's been going since the 2000 Olympics, the only female competitor to have competed in all 4 Olympics since the women joined the Olympics with the modern pentathlon. But that was a very sad, almost end to her competition here. There'll be no coming back from that. The penalty's far too severe when converted into time. And while the Brazilian, Oliveira, really, it makes her ride look something quite extraordinary so far. French Bian Rublievska all struggling in her wake. Let's see what Victoria Tereshchuk can do. Not the strongest event, the riding, Tereshchuk. So strong in the combined. For her, a couple of knockdowns won't be the end of the competition. Just needs to get round safe and sound in this one, especially given what she's seen before, as she will be extremely wary and experienced enough to know that this is a damage limitation job. It's 2 down already for Tereshchuk. Very smart through the combination though. And a third and a fourth go. And really, Tereshchuk can't afford any more now. She's a fantastic runner. and a very good shooter, but she can't afford to go too far down.
Tereshuk from Ukraine, time 1 minute and 4 seconds. Obstacle penalties 160 points. Riding points 1040. Total points so far 3024. You are in 6th place.
So 6th place for Tereshuk, but another 13 pentathletes still to go, and she could find herself very far off the pace going into the combined. Of course, being a good rider, no guarantee of a good performance. Horsemanship,
now riding,
a key skill in this, with so little time to get acquainted with the horse. And another of the strong Russian performers, Donata Rimsaitia. The 25-year-old, considered strongest in the fencing and the running, another one who will just be wanting to put in a solid performance. Nothing spectacular needed with everybody else collapsing around her. Down goes the first, she takes a look behind, it's gone. Now Rimsaitia will have come into this competition in very high spirits. Qualified top of Group B, 4th best qualifier overall. Look back a few years, World Cup final winner in 2008 and 2009, which was in Rio. She's been here, she's done it before. She will feel confident in these surroundings. But she's suffered a few knockdowns already, and another rider who's really performing much worse than she would have hoped for at this point.
From Russia, riding time 1 minute 2 seconds. 200 points in obstacle penalties. Riding points 1,000. Total points so far 2,996.
So there you go, a pentathlete bang in form, but still 200 penalties, 5 knockdowns, and it's that kind of performance that just makes your job so hard when you're going into the combined. And the clear rounds at this stage worth their weight in gold. Only Priscilla Oliveira, who was in 18th, the Brazilian with a clear round so far. She'll be watching herself move up the leaderboard. With every rider who continues to perform like this, Christina Tsay of Hungary will be the next to try and stop this run of very poor performances. Oh, and hit that hard, and Say's down, and another one goes to ground. Oh, the horse hit it hard, too close to the fence. Say trying to hang on, couldn't get the reins, tried to hold onto the neck, and down she goes. And well, if this continues, you have to think that this is just opening up for the top half dozen. They could see themselves with quite a lot of daylight between themselves and the rest of the competitors if this continues. Now the question, can Say hold this together? It was a terrible start. She really needs to go clear from here on. There are going to be time penalties. The knockdowns now deepening the wound. Well, that's nice from Say. She showed some real composure there. That could have turned into another disaster, but
time 1 minute 23 seconds. Obstacle penalties 120 points and 64 for time. Riding points 1,016 and total points in the competition so far 3,024. You are now in 7th place.
and quite remarkably, the ride as well, they're really making this look as difficult as possible. However, Priscilla Oliveira showed us it can be done with a clear round.
Now riding Clovel from France.
Can
Riding
Elodie
Guillotine
Clovel.
Bonico.
Well, that's ominous, isn't it? Guillotine after some of the deaths on that riding course that we've witnessed so far. Let's hope she's not going to be the latest. Such a strong swimmer, Clovel. Solid fencer. Not her strongest, the ride, and I have to say at this point I'm pretty fearful for her. Just over the first. Shaky start, but holding it together. Clip that last one. And as any experienced pentathlete will tell you, it doesn't matter how it looks, doesn't matter how you get there, it's all about getting round in the riding. No points for style. Oh, and an ugly jump. Almost got away with it, but down it goes. And then another, and the horse now looking very uncomfortable. And this is where you need an experienced rider. Someone with very good horsemanship skills to hold this together. The horse fighting Clovel. Oh, and this was on the cards, wasn't it? Just doesn't want any more. And Guillotine, well, it may just have cut short Elodie Clovel's chances in this competition. She's down. The horse ploughed through a couple of fences and decided that's enough. I don't want any more. Clovel, she's picked up an injury. Let's hope it's nothing too serious. She took a nasty tumble. Oh, and the horse reaching through the fence there. Says, I've had enough. Deposits Clovel on the top of the fence, who almost helps herself down to the ground. Bit of a bump, hopefully not too much damage done to her. She's back up, and she's a brave woman because this hasn't been a pleasant experience for her, and it isn't over yet. Clovel circles round, not too far to go now. She'll want to finish this for her own pride. Well, he wasn't too keen to do it, but he has tried to jump them. And Guillotine, no. Once again, down comes the blade. Guillotine was going to circle round. That'll be another penalty for the refusal. Can Elodie Clovel just make it round here?
Athlete Clovel from France is eliminated for reaching the time limit of 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
Well, she tried, didn't she, Clovel? And whether this was down to her riding skills, was it down to just a very difficult horse? All the horses are test jumped and deemed to be of sound ability to complete the course. Some more difficult than others. And for Elodie Clovel, Guillotine brings down the end to this competition. Well, for any of the riders who are waiting to compete and watching this, this must be just jangling the nerves, I would imagine. And Sarolta Kovac is the next to try and attempt what will now be seeming a near impossible task. A nervous draw of breath as she sets off. And does well to make it through those three. 22 years old. Her birthday was this month. is this going to be the event she has something to celebrate? First knockdown, but at this stage, compared to the other riders, this is not bad at all. Oh, and I spoke too soon because she's ploughed into that one. And as we've seen before, this is the point at which the horse will be having doubts, and the rider even more so. And just a timeout there taken to reconstruct the fence. Kovac gets the chance to circle round and take another attempt at that fence. Can she do better this time? Much better. Fantastic jump. Lots of height over that. And again. And this is a real show of character now from Sarolta Kovac. Junior world champion 2010 and 2011. Has the ability, no doubts about that. 4 times European junior champion as well. Well, some difficult moments in that ride for Kovac, but by the time we finish this round, she may look back and think it wasn't quite as bad as she thought.
Athlete Kovac from Hungary, riding time 1 minute 12 seconds. Obstacle penalties 120. Time penalties 20. Riding points 1,060. Total points so far 3,084. You are now in 3rd place. So far in the competition we have...
And that's exactly the point I was going to make. 3 faults with the refusal, the knockdowns. Very few time penalties. Most of that time they're taken to reconstruct the fence. The clock goes off when that happens. Otherwise, not too bad on the time there from Kovac. And she could just find herself handily positioned as they go into the combined. It seems like a bad round is turning out to be a good round today. Too many disasters already seen out on the course. Here's Britain's Mari Spence.
Now riding Spence from Great Britain, riding Lamaro do Rincão.
27-year-old Britain, number 11 in the world. World champion last year. And it's becoming a familiar sight. The early knockdown for Spence at the 3rd.
Pick up your feet.
Talking to the horse. Whether he can understand her or not, we'll find out, but telling him to pick his feet up. Oh, and another, and it's going wrong very, very quickly now for Mari Spence. 5 penalties already, down to 1,000 points. It's the equivalent of 50 seconds, and there go another 10 and another. Well, this course seems to be riding so difficult. And Spence gets round. The time's pretty good, but the knockdowns weren't.
Penalties 280. Total points in the competition so far 2,944. You are in 13th place.
And this is very quickly turning into a competition that is a test of character. Can anybody in the top 8 put in a clear round, even at this stage? 1 or 2 faults would be good enough to put them in a commanding position Here's Tatyana Yelizarova, the 29-year-old Belarusian.
Now riding Yelizarova from Belarus, riding Januária do Rincão.
Now, in last year's World Cup final, Yelizarova put in a clear round, and what she would give for another of those here. Only once has she made it into the top 10 in a major event. It came last year at the World Cup final, courtesy of that clear round. Can she do it again? And you sense this could just be one of those days with a headline story. Young Octavia Novachka, the complete unknown, leading the way. And really everything just playing into her hands at the moment. Oh dear, and that's a second refusal now for Yelizarova. And under the rules, she has to move on now to the next fence. Oh, and that's messy. And now she's in trouble. She's going to have to go back and circle round. Two refusals, quickly followed by a knockdown. And this is quite remarkable, because Yelizarova's round following the ones that have come before her, and the time just slipping through her fingers, and nothing she can do to stop it. Oh, crawling over that last one. Oh, and it's painful to watch. 4 penalties, but it's the time penalties are going to be punishing as well. Make that 5 now. And really, for Yelizarova, the finish line can't come fast enough. Oh, and it's a struggle. She makes it through. Can she make it through that one? Yes. And the applause, as much of relief, I think, for Tatyana Yelizarova.
Yelizarova from Belarus, time 1 minute 34 seconds. Obstacle penalties 200 and time penalties 108. Total points in the competition 2,924.
Well, you look now at the leaderboard, and still to ride. 3rd place, Lara Asadowskaitė, who's been there, won everything, and got the T-shirt. She must be thinking this is playing very nicely into her hands. 2nd place, Samantha Murray, who's in fantastic form. Had a brilliant 2012. She'll be feeling good about this. Octavia Novachka, well, she's never been in this situation, never been tested at this level. And how she will do, absolutely nobody knows. Next to run the gauntlet, Sofia Faldaji of Hungary. 7th place going into the ride. Will she stay there? And just look at... Oh dear, she's caught one early, just holds on to the rein. I was going to say, just look at number 8 on the leaderboard there. Oliveira started in 18th. A clear round from Priscilla Oliveira, the only one we've seen, and she is moving up that leaderboard with every rider that passes. That's a 3rd knockdown for Faldaji. It's becoming a very familiar scene now. Very fast through that double. Did it well though. Well, the time's good. And given what we've already seen so far today, that's not too shabby at all.
Feldhazi from Hungary, riding time 59 seconds. Obstacle penalties 120 points. Total points so far 3,120. You are in 3rd place.
Very fast. First rider under a minute. 3 knockdowns. but a strong performance given the awful showings that we've seen so far. Third place for the Hungarian.
Isaacson dos Estados Unidos em segundo lugar e Feldhase da Hungria em terceiro lugar, seguido por Kovac da Hungria em quarto e McCann do Canadá em quinto.
And here comes Britain's Katie Burke. And will Lindaura be kind to her today?
Great Britain riding Lindaura do Rincão.
The world number 40, a chance to improve on that ranking, lies before her now in the next minute or so. And it must be so difficult for the riders watching failure after failure out on the course before them to then come out and try and perform. Bound to get inside their minds, the psychology bound to play quite a part. And at this point, this is pretty good. One knockdown so far. Around halfway around the course. If you can get around with just a couple, the time's good. Down goes another. She really just needs to keep this together now. Just a few more clean jumps and this will be a solid performance. 3 down. There was another pole that had dropped there, not quite spotted at first by the scorers. Fast though. 3 knockdowns, 120 penalties.
3,120 points in the competition. You are in third place.
Well, the 5 riders who remain, they will be acutely aware. A good performance now will put them in a great position. A clear round in a fantastic position. It's really there for the taking for whoever can do it. Will it be Leila Guinnessai, another Hungarian? The best of their performers so far today. 5th place after the swim. Oh, world number 20, but the horse, obviously no admirer of the world rankings, knocks one down early on. And another. And riding considered one of the Hungarians' fortes. Remember, just the 20 minutes to get acquainted with the horse, 5 practice jumps. It's not long, and that's 3 penalties already. Oh, and that was ugly. A 4th goes down, and to put this in perspective, Guinnessai, a pentathlete who regularly finishes in the top 10. If you're looking for misconsistency, she's just about that. And when she's struggling, you know things are difficult.
Guinnessai from Hungary, time 1 minute and 3 seconds. Obstacle penalties 160 points. Total points so far 3,084. You are in 6th place.
And if you're looking for a fairy tale finish, how about this? Yanni Marquez on home ground, the Brazilian. And apologies for the loss of picture. Back though already. The Brazilian. 3rd in the Olympics last year, 3rd in the World Cup final last year, 3rd last month in stage 1 of this year's World Cup Series. Very often the bridesmaid. Can she be the winner this time? She does know how to do it. 3 times, in fact. She's been the Pan-American champion 2 times. Those events were taking place right here in Rio. Still in the first half of the course, already 2 down. And a beast of a horse, but he's still making it look difficult. Mark is struggling to get the horse off the ground. Feet just not lifting. It's a huge horse, not picking its feet up. Marquez trying her best, but that was all a bit of a struggle.
Total time, 1 minute, 6 seconds. Obstacle penalties, 200. Total points so far, 3,068. You are in 7th place. Marques do Brasil, tempo, 1 minute e 6 segundos.
Another of the very fancied pentathletes sees her name slip down the leaderboard.
Agora 3.068, estando em 7º lugar.
So the home favourite struggled. Not as bad as some of the performances we've seen, but not what she would have hoped for. And then there were 3. And this will tell us exactly how difficult this course is performing. Laura Asadowskaite, if she can't do it, nobody can. 29 years old, world number 1, Olympic champion, European champion, World Cup final winner last year. Qualified first here in Rio for this final, 16 seconds clear of the rest. What can she do? Oh, that was a good start. Clear air. Down goes the first. Fast over the ground, 2 knockdowns. This would be pretty good if she can keep it at this. Oh, and number 4 goes down, and well, Asadowskaite, who is a superwoman of modern pentathlon, but made to look very normal indeed on that round.
Lithuania time, 1 minute, 3 seconds. 200 points in obstacle penalties.
5 penalties.
Total points in the competition so far, 3,104. You are in 5th place. Now riding, Murray from Great
All said and done though, 5th place for
Asadowskaite,
Asadowskaite, and that's the sort of position we've seen her win from before. Such a good performer in the combined. But what an opportunity now for Samantha Murray. And really, this is just there for the taking for either of the top 2. Who's going to take their chance? That's a good start from Murray. Maybe this could be her day. 23 years old, world number 3. She really had a 2012 to remember. 2nd in the Olympics in London. 3rd at the World Championships. Oh, just holding it together. I thought I'd spoken too soon there. Oh, and she gives the horse some encouragement, and he gives her something back. And it doesn't look good at this point. Well, it's quite remarkable the way that seasoned veterans are being made to look like beginners on the riding course today. was a fantastic recovery. The triple made to look pretty ordinary there. And as I said, bang in form last year. Didn't perform in Palm Springs last month, so comes here fresh. Oh, this is good for Murray. Just that one wobbly moment early on, but it's been a pretty good ride apart from that. The time's going to be slightly off the pace, but the knockdowns, that's the important thing. Just the 40 penalties. Can she get across the finish line intact? Well, Samantha Murray could have asked you for the results over the course. She probably would have gone for that. 1 knockdown.
And 40 penalty points for obstacles. You have 3,284 points, are now in first place.
And that's the result.
Standing is Murray from Great Britain in first place. Oliveira from Brazil in second. Isaacson from the United States in third.
Considered a good all-rounder, Samantha Murray. And that's exactly what you need to be a champion on a day like this. Any sniff of weakness will be exploited. If you're not a good rider, it's almost not worth the attempt. Because as we've seen so far, any kind of weakness on the course is being ruthlessly exploited. Well, it could be a fairy tale story. For 2 years, nobody's seen Octavia Nowacka on the pentathlon course. A promising youngster.
Now riding Nowacka from Poland.
Now 22 years old, and she stunned everybody this morning. Second in the fencing, 13th in the swim. A solid performance in the pool from her. The fencing, though, quite remarkable. 24 victories, just the 11 defeats. Nothing to suggest she would be that good on the piste. She's the overall leader, and the seas have parted for her somewhat, apart from Murray. Not too many people putting in a strong show on the horse. Can she take a fantastic opportunity? Oh, and it's a really horrible start. 2 knockdowns on the first 3 fences. There goes the third. And as we heard from her earlier, out because of injury for the last 2 years. So no chance to practice. She'll be extremely rusty coming into this. That's good, and at this stage, this is still an outstanding performance from Nowacka. If she could hang on to a top 5-6 position going into the combined after such a prolonged period of absence, that's a fantastic achievement.
200 points. Total points so far, 3,132. You are in 4th place. The first 5 in the competition now are Murray from Great Britain, Oliveira from Brazil, Isaacson from the United States, Nowacka from Poland, and Berg from Great Britain. As primeiras 5 colocadas até o momento são Murray, da Grã-Bretanha, Oliveira, do Brasil.
Well, we've seen many challenges all but disappear
Nowacka, da Polónia,
out on the riding course today. And
Grã-Bretanha.
that said and done, though, the situation, some familiar. Samantha Murray, so strong last year. Laura Asadowskaitė still in very close contention. And Margot Isaacson, you can see there, we didn't see her ride. She's down in was in the bottom half coming into the ride, but a clear round from her as well. And that has shot her up the leaderboard. Tatiana Yelizarova, the leader.
Tenho
after the fencing, down in 22nd now. Terrible day for her on the horse. Again, Elodie Clavel just highlighting the ability that's needed in all of the disciplines of the pentathlon. An amazing swim from her, no points after an absolute disaster in the ride. And it's all over for her and Wen Jingzhu and the other French girl, Adele Stern. Well, there'll be a few bruised egos and a few bruised and battered bodies after that ride, and they won't have too long to turn things around and get themselves in the right frame of mind before the combined, where it will all be won and lost. And at this stage, it's looking like it's going to be probably a three-way battle. Samantha Murray is up there. Laura Asadowskaite will be the strong favourite. And Margot Isaacson, the youngster, still in with a very good chance at this stage.
Pode falar. Falando para teste, por favor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Brazil. 11, McCann, Canada. 12, French, Great Britain. 13, Hurashkina, Russia. 14, Tereshuk, Ukraine. 15, Czech, Hungary. 16, Isaacson, Isabella, USA. 17, Pavlova.
Neil Harvey and welcome to stage 2 of this year's Modern Pentathlon World Cup Series, coming to you this time from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, the host city for the Summer Olympics in 3 years' time, but now the place where pentathlon dreams are being made and destroyed. Let's recap what's happened so far in today's women's final, starting with the fencing. Specialist event, an opportunity for the strong fencers to build an advantage before they head to the pool. And it was a very strong performance on the piece for Jelena Rublievska, the Latvian. 24 victories for the 36-year-old who celebrates her birthday tomorrow. Fencing is a speciality, and she showed why. Led it halfway in the fencing before she would be pegged back by a strong surge from some of the others. Still good enough to finish second in this event. Yanni Marquez, the great Brazilian hope on home grounds. Marquez so often seen on the podium. 8th place after the fencing, 20 victories, keeps her in contention. And this is the woman they all want to beat, and the woman they really do need to beat, Laura Asadowskaite, the world #1, winning everything of note last year. Fencing in the combined, probably her strongest event. And that just one of her 24 victories from 35 that would see her in joint second position. Victoria Tereshuk, banging form, winner last month in Palm Springs. Top half performance from her on the piste. Not spectacular, but good enough. 19 victories from the 35. Shaking her head, but probably job done for her. And here's Donato Rimsaitia. The Russian, another one putting in a strong performance. 21 victories would be good enough for 6th place for her going towards the pool. The leader, a Belarusian, Tatyana Yelizarova, in 1st place, and joint second, a complete unknown, Oktavia Nowacka from Poland. One we've heard of, the other we haven't. Top 2. There she is, Oktavia Nowacka. Not competed for 2 years. What a great performance, though.
Yes, because I'm after operation of my knee. I had reconstruction ACL, and this is my first start after this pause. Okay, and I'm so happy.
I'm very happy to win two fencing.
A woman of few words there, Yelizarova, but why should she say much? She did all her talking out on the piste. And that's how they looked. Yelizarova, experience showing. And Nowacka's lack of experience not showing whatsoever. 2nd place, fantastic performance from her. But Could she maintain it as they headed to the pool? The 200 metres freestyle swim. The swimmers grouped into heats according to their qualifying times. And so strong in the fencing, this heat containing the weakest swimmers would include Jelena Rublievska of Latvia, not by a long way her strongest discipline. Tatiana Yelizarova first in the fencing. Again, not the best in the pool. And for them taking part in this heat with the other weaker comparatively swimmers around them, it's all about trying to get as close as they can to a personal best. For fans of the Russian Yekaterina Khuraskina, she was also taking part in this heat and will have been feeling pretty good after an 8th place in the fencing. Pool, though, well, pretty unforgiving on those competitors on this occasion. Khuraskina, all that work in the fencing undone with a 34th best time in the pool, only 2 slower than her time of 2 minutes 27 seconds off the pace that you need to hold your own in modern pentathlon. Even worse though, one of those slower than her, Yelena Rublievska, from 2nd in the fencing, next to last in the pool, 2 minutes and 29.99. And Yelizarova, best of all on the piste, 32nd from 36 in the pool, 2 minutes 27 seconds. And just illustrating the need to have that all-round ability in the pentathlon. The good fencers struggling in the pool and being pulled back by the pack. Going in heat 2. Octavia Novachka, who we've talked about, not competed for 2 years through injury. Absolutely no idea what to expect from her in the pool after a fantastic fence. We saw her in 2nd, 22-year-old. Laura Asadauskaitė, the undisputed world #1.
Athletes in heat 4, please present yourselves to control.
And I guess some people will have been pitting this as the reigning champion against perhaps the champion of the future if today's early performance is anything to go by. For those who haven't heard much about Octavia Novachka, will join the group because nobody's heard of her. Last seen performing at the age of 20 in 2011 in junior championships with pretty mixed results, all said. But whatever she's been doing in those 2 years, it seems to have done some good because it was a decent performance in the pool from her today. And she actually, pushing on ahead, you'll see she actually finishes ahead of Laura Asadauskaitė. Novachka's time, 2 minutes and 17, on a par with the last performances, sort of 2:16, 2:17, her standard performance going back a couple of years in junior championships, so no progress, but certainly it's not done her any harm, the time away from the pool. Asadowskait's time, 2 minutes 19, 18th fastest, not her strongest event. Blistering though at the combined. Just keeping the Lithuanian in a competitive position after 2 events. So Novachka maintaining top spot after the swim. Asadowskaite just behind her in 3rd place coming from the pool. And this was the heat with all the fastest swimmers, a chance for them to make up ground from the fencing, including Victoria Tereshchuk, winner last month in Palm Springs in stage 1 of the World Cup Series. 2011 world champion. Swimming, one of her stronger events. That said though, perhaps not the strongest performance from her on this occasion. Just 17th fastest in the pool, 2 minutes 19, losing ground on the likes of Novachka. Tereshchuk, under the old format pentathlon, was the world record holder for the combined. We saw last week when she came off, sorry, last month when she came off the pace to take victory in Palm Springs. Tall, rangy, fast over the ground, very, very strong in the combined. If she can stay within 40, 50 seconds of the leader when they head into that final event, she will always be in with a chance. The person who would really show how it should be done in the pool, though, leading the way there in the centre lane, Elodie Clouvel, the French girl, known for her swimming, and she would show it with the fastest time in the pool today. Clouvel's time, 2 minutes 9 seconds. Picking up a whole bunch of points on the likes of Novachka and Asadowskaite. Not the first time we've seen Clouvel do so well in the pool, though. The test for her will come later on. And Samantha Murray doing well enough in the pool with a 4th place swim to take 2nd place overall and move her into medal contention.
Well, I had a big break throughout the winter. I was resting, and this year I'm studying a lot to finish my degree. So my time is really divided differently than last year. I study a lot and I enjoy myself and relax, and I'm training a little bit too. Hopefully throughout the season I'll progress and get strong again. But at the moment, my priority is to finish my studies and to keep enjoying pentathlon.
And this was the leaderboard after the opening 2 events. Nobody predicted she would be there. Octavia Novachka, the young Pole, back from injury and surprising everybody with a superb performance on the piece, 24 victories, keeping around the time she would have hoped for in the pool, good enough to take the lead at the halfway stage. Samantha Murray in 2nd place, though, an outstanding 2012 for her. And looking down, these all still in contention. Victoria Tereshchuk, we saw her come off the pace last month. And looking down the bottom of the leaderboard, though, something special required in the riding now to get the likes of Gubadulina of Russia back into contention.
Marques from Brazil, riding Legenda do Rincão, Agora na pista.
So on to the third event, the riding, and it's fair to say at this point that we had seen a catalogue of disasters by this stage, rider after rider picking up countless faults, slipping down the leaderboard. Just a couple of clear rounds, I think, from the top 30 riders or so. And at this point, the door looked open for Yana Marquez, the big Brazilian hope on home ground. He'll have gone into this having watched so many of her rivals struggle badly. She'll have known a good round here would be a huge chance to move up the leaderboard. Give herself a good advantage over some of her closest rivals. It's probably Marquez's strongest discipline, the riding. A few early knockdowns though. And Marquez looking behind her there because that would be the fourth fence to go. Of course, riding so difficult today in Rio. Five knockdowns there for Yana Marquez.
Total time, 1 minute, 6 seconds. Obstacle penalties, 200. Total points so far.
She pats the horse, but, well, she would have wanted better. The 3 times Pan American champion, twice a winner in Rio in front of a home crowd.
Penalidades por obstáculos, 200 pontos. Pontuação total até agora.
Not what she'd have wanted. That sees her slip down the leaderboard. Marquez down to 10th. Six places
now
lost
riding
in the course of just over a minute.
Riding Elegância do Rincão.
So could Laura Asadaus-Skaitia, the Wonder Woman of modern pentathlon, show everybody else how it's done? An elegant performer, Elegancia the horse, seems like a match made in heaven. Old, plenty of experience. She'll have ridden in difficult situations like this before. Knockdown won't be too much of a worry for Asadaus-Skaitia, an Olympic champion, a European champion, and a World Cup final winner. She pretty much won all but one of the big titles that were on offer last year. Considered the competitor to beat. But even she found things difficult on the course. 5 knockdowns.
From Lithuania, time 1 minute 3 seconds. 200 points in obstacle penalties. Total points in the competition so far, 3,104. You are in 5th place. Now riding, Murray from Great Britain, riding
Asadaus-Skaitia slipping down the leaderboard a little, but nothing as bad as some of the performances we saw on the horse today. She finished 7th place overall after the riding 45 seconds off the leader. Not too much of a problem for somebody of her ability. But the door opened for Samantha Murray. Next to last to go in 2nd place after the first 2 events. And after seeing so many other riders fail, she'll have known a clear round, 1 or 2 knockdowns, and she'd be making good ground over the rest. course, not having any of it there. Looking good so far, Murray. Oh. Did well to hang on there. Of course, if either rider or horse hit the ground, that's a 40-point penalty. The equivalent of 10 seconds as they go to the combined. So important she hangs on. She does. Takes her time, circles round. Has another go and gets it this time. Picks up pace and clears the next two. Good performance through that triple. Sometimes you have to think that Murray, only 23 years old, such a fantastic year last year. Second in the Olympics, third in the World Championships. Murray really holding this together well. And applause from the crowd, who, to be honest, didn't see many performances that they could applaud. So many riders struggling. Murray making it look easy as it could be.
40 penalty points for obstacles. You have 3,284 points, are now in first place. The current standing is Murray from Great Britain in first place.
And with just the one knockdown and fast time, no penalties, that would see Samantha Murray finish in the lead.
Burke from Great Britain in fourth, and Feldhasi from Hungary in fifth. A posição até agora: em primeiro lugar, Murray da Inglaterra; em segundo lugar, Oliveira do Brasil; em terceiro lugar, Isaacson dos Estados Unidos;
and the clear rounds, few
lugar,
and
Burke
far
da
between.
Grã-Bretanha; em quinto lugar, Feldhasi da Hungria.
Priscilla Oliveira of Brazil, well off the pace earlier in the day. A clear round from her, one of just two from the 36 competitors, putting her up to second place on the leaderboard.
Now riding
as they go to
Nowaczka
combined.
from Poland, riding Fascinho do Rincão.
Margot Isaacson, the talented young American. She's going to be a superstar of the future, there's no doubt about that. Clear round from her, the only other one of the day, putting her up to third place, so far off the pace. Disappointing time in the pool from Isaacson, but she made it up with a clear round. And now to the girl who lost out to Isaacson in one of her most recent appearances, one of her last performances back in 2011 before getting injured. Octavia Nowaczka, losing out by a matter of seconds to Isaacson a couple of years ago. The surprise leader after the fencing and the swimming. Could she hold it together out on the course? Three early knockdowns followed soon by a fourth for Nowaczka. Each knockdown worth 40 points, around the equivalent of 10 seconds, time they will not want to lose. Another 10 seconds just slipping away from her there at the finish, but by no means a disaster. And if you'd have handed her that kind of position, fourth place overall at the start of the day, absolutely no doubt she would have taken it.
The first
38 seconds off the pace, right in the mix.
Oliveira from Brazil.
And for Octavia Nowaczka, a fantastic day's work so far.
From Poland and Burke from Great Britain.
And perhaps signalling the kind of future she has in modern pentathlon.
Da Grã-Bretanha, Oliveira do Brasil, Isaacson dos Estados Unidos, Nowaczka da Polônia e Burke da Grã-Bretanha.
So, very difficult day out on the riding course. And this is how it all ended. Samantha Murray of Britain taking the advantage, and a healthy one as well. She will start 34 seconds ahead of Priscilla Oliveira of Brazil. They'll be waiting around on the start line for the combined for quite a while before the number 2 competitor departs. Margot Isaacson, the young American hope. Really good ride, clear round, just 2 of those on the day, catapulting her up to 3rd place. Laura Asadowskaite, though, ominously positioned in 7th place. 45 seconds, certainly something she could overcome. And now we'll see some of the performers who struggled on the course. Myri Spence, very difficult round for her. 280 points in penalties, really suffered. And going down even further, Jelena Rublievska, well, just a horrible time in the riding. Chances all but gone for her. And 3 competitors who, well, couldn't even manage it round in the end. Elodie Clavel, Wen Jingzhu, Adele Stern, just found the horse and the course too much for them on this occasion. So it's all set up very nicely for the combined event, where the competitors will undertake 4 rounds of shooting, 4 cross-country runs.
Well, the riding was a little bit stressful. I had a refusal, and yeah, it was a little bit and also I haven't been riding for a while, so I was a bit rusty. But now I'm going to start the combined event in 1st place, and I just have to enjoy it because I think I'm really going to drop down. I'm hoping to stay in the top 10, but behind me I have all the best athletes in the world, all the really fast runners and really consistent shooters. So I'm just going to do my combine and see how I finish, but I'd like to be in the top 10, hopefully.
We are now 3 minutes to start. All coaches must
And pretty humble words there, I think, from Katie Burke in 5th place. Almost unnoticed the way she's crept up the leaderboard, but solid performances all round from her. 11th in the fencing, 9th in the pool. Just the 3 knockdowns in the riding, and as a result of just being solid, if not spectacular, only 41 seconds for Burke to make up on the leader, Samantha Murray. So it's a couple of Brits in the top 5. Samantha Murray, Katie Burke, the young surprise package from Poland, 22-year-old Octavia Nowacka in 4th place there. Her junior rival, Margot Isaacson, the 2 competing closely in the past, in 3rd, and a Brazilian in 2nd place, but by no means the one that people would have expected. Yanin Marquez, the great medal hope. She'll have been the favourite among the Brazilian competitors, down in 10th place, but it's Priscilla Oliveira, who began down in 22nd, coming from the fencing, 11th quickest in the pool, and the very best on horseback. Quickest round the course, a clear round, and puts her in 2nd place, 34 seconds off the pace. And not much time for them to get ready. A few battered egos and a few bruises, as I said, from the riding section. We saw more than a couple of riders go down to the ground, but they soon got to pick it up, because now it's the combined event.
Number 1 and number 2, please. Number 1.
Where from 10 meters they will shoot a laser pistol on 4 occasions. Between each of the shoots, they will run 800 meters around a cross-country course. On each shoot, they will face 5 targets. In order to progress, it'll need 5 green lights. No time penalties as such. Miss a target, you have to fire again. 5 green lights needed to progress, or 50 seconds if the time elapses. The runners allowed to continue on their way. So 4 runs and shoots, then a sprint to the finish. We've seen in the past how a good performer in the combined can really make up a lot of ground. We saw it last month. Victoria Tereshuk coming from off the pace. Seemed like she couldn't catch, but she did. That long stride, eating up the ground as her rivals tired enough to give her victory in Palm Springs. But being fast over the ground isn't everything. Evie Bengs of Finland, fastest in qualifying here in Rio, failed to reach the final. So just another reminder of how it's all-round ability. The modern pentathlon, a test of skills. You really do have to be able to fence, swim, ride and run and shoot. The ultimate test really of the modern cavalier. Baron Pierre de Coubertin, his concept still alive and well and testing competitors in the modern era.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And off goes the leader. Samantha Murray with what is a very healthy advantage. Just the 25 meters to the first shooting stand. Murray looking to light up those 5 green lights. And she does 14 seconds. Not a bad time, world record for the fastest shoot, just over 8 seconds. And with such a big advantage, she can afford to lose 1 or 2 on each of those shoots. And here come the rest. Oliveira struggling. Isaacson and Novachka, though, doing well. Isaacson clear, 14 seconds. Not gaining much ground, but it's okay. Burke, though, 10 seconds from Katie Burke. Fantastic shoot from the Brit. And she's off in pursuit. Asadowskaite, a good time, 13.7. Kovac. So they're staying on pace, if not particularly gaining. Just Katie Burke there making up a little ground on her compatriot Murray. Murray off on her first circuit of 800 meters. For Murray fans, they'll be clinging to the hope that she's a good all-rounder, not a specialist in any one event. She should be quite hard to reel in, but there are the people behind her who know how to do that. Asadowskaite, the name to watch, in 6th at the moment. So Murray's lead, 34 seconds at the beginning of the combined. It's the first lap. No sign of the second place runner at this stage. But if Murray does have any problems, they're bunched up behind her. Only 30 seconds between 2nd and 14th coming into this final event. So any mistakes will be pounced on. Murray coming in The number one positioned athlete going to the number one station is how it's done. At this point, Murray will be focusing on trying to control her heartbeat, her breathing. It's all about trying to keep the steady breath, the steady pulse to maintain the accuracy. Oh, and she is struggling. Already 16 seconds and not half of the lights up. And 26 seconds, that's a slow shoot from Murray, really struggled. Managed to gain a composure. Perhaps Murray just thinking a little bit about that lead. Sometimes it can be as much of a hindrance as it is a help when you've got a big lead like that. The time, though, is coming down. Katie Burke, another fantastic shoot. 7 seconds made up on Isaacson there. More on Murray. Burke away, just 7 shots needed. Asadashkaitya just behind her. And the gap is closing. 16 seconds, it's more than halved. Now Margot Isaacson of America closing the gap. Katie Burke of Britain in third. Second shooting completed. Murray goes out on that second run, but the legs will feel a little heavier now. The mind will be thinking about what went wrong on the range. Still daylight to second place, 16 seconds, but now we can see number 2, Margot Isaacson. And if Samantha Murray does at any point take a look over her shoulder, she'll see something she doesn't want to see. That gap has halved. And now the gap all too clear to see and seems to be closing. Margot Isaacson now looking as if she is going to put the pressure on Samantha Murray. It's down to 9 seconds. She's gaining on the ground. Murray looks tired. We're only in the second of the 800-meter cross-country laps, and she's breathing quite heavily. Isaacson is closing and fast. Isaacson, another of these extremely talented youngsters, the American Polish junior champion going back a couple of years, and very good performance last month in Palm Springs. And there we go, the gap's all but gone. They come to the third shooting station together. Well, both struggling now. The nerves are showing, and it's allowed Katie Burke and Lara Asadashkaitya to almost catch. Oh, Murray again struggling. And Isaacson's away. 9 shots, 18 seconds. It's not bad. And she's into the lead. Oh, Burke, tremendous. 5 shots, 10 seconds. She's reeling them in each time on the shoots, and she's off in pursuit. Asadashkaitya with her. For Samantha Murray, it's not going well at all. Really struggling on the shooting, something she's usually pretty strong in. Samantha Murray, the one eye closed, as usually seen. No artificial eye cover for her, but you do wonder whether that big lead has been playing on her mind. She won't have to worry about it anymore, though, because it's gone. And it's this lady, Margot Isaacson, in the lead. And she's built an 8-second gap already. The leader, Margot Isaacson, just 21 years of age, already up to 31 in the world rankings, and now we're seeing why. Running one of her strongest skills in the modern pentathlon, she has the ability over the flat to stay there. At this point, though, it's really just going to be a test of nerves as they head into the final shoot. And we've seen this before. In the green of Lithuania, Lara Asadauskaitė into second place and making her move for the lead. Isaacson, 2012 Junior World Champion. The talent, no doubt it's there. And she's already had a test of nerves last year in London, 2012 Olympics. Isaacson, above expectation, finishing 4th, but having been in a medal-holding position, to just miss out, well, it took her to tears and took her quite a while to get over the disappointment of missing out on a medal. She reflected later on and said she was proud of what she'd achieved, but she's had that test of nerve already in her career, and will this help her right now? Asadauskaitė, Isaacson together on the final shoot. Oh, and she's holding a nerve, Isaacson, and she's away. It's another good time, 14 seconds. Oh, and this is going on too long from Asadauskaitė. The Lithuanian just showing a few frailties there. Katie Burke away. And Samantha Murray finally goes off in 4th place. But it's looking like there's only 2 people can win this, and Isaacson, she has a comfortable 12-second lead. Can she hang on, though? It's the sorcerer against the apprentice, Asadauskaitė of Lithuania. The world #1, the Olympic champion, the World Cup final winner, European champion. Can she do it again against the youngster Isaacson? 12 seconds the margin. The American camp cheering her on. And you can see the gap, and it's pretty big. Surely there's no way back now for the world #1. And we saw just last month in Palm Springs, Isaacson, 7th place. She showed her potential. She showed that she's improving and has what it takes to move that step up from junior world champion to senior champion. And it looks like she's coming of age today in Rio de Janeiro. Isaacson pulling away from the greatest women's modern pentathlete in the world. Lara Asadauskaitė digging deep, but losing time to the young American. In 3rd place, Katie Burke of Great Britain, Samantha Murray in 4th. Oh, and a smile. She knows she's got this. Margot Isaacson beaming now from ear to ear. She knows that the finish line isn't too far now. And victory, there it is, we missed her going over the line, but victory goes to Margot Isaacson, just 21 years of age from America, but she's come of age today in Rio de Janeiro. Her first senior title. And what a victory it was, beating the very best in Laura Asadowskaite. Katie Burke collapses to the ground. And Tara Shook, what a performance from her to finish in 4th place. Really eating up the ground. We saw that last month, just how good she is over the ground. Too much to do on this occasion, Victoria Tara Shook. Enough, though, to edge out Samantha Murray, who faded badly. Pretty fast over the ground, Murray, and you have to feel it was the shooting that hurt her. Rimsaiti of Russia takes 6th, 44 seconds off the pace. It's pretty comfortable in the end, though, for Margot Isaacson. The screams from her camp. And shortly we'll see her younger sister complete the course, and then the celebrations, the family congratulations will begin. Isabella Isaacson was well down the field going into the combined, but there'll be plenty of love to give around. Congratulations already there for Isaacson. And you can see lots of concern for Isaacson's appearance as before she goes to meet the cameras. Rimsaiti there giving her a pinch on the cheek.
36 seconds. It's not a problem for you now, handicap?
Well, my shooting has been a little bit up and down the last seasons. And so I knew in the semifinal I had very bad shooting. So I knew it was up to my shooting. My running is very strong. It's my strongest event, but it was really about what I did at the range. And I think it could be better, but I kept it together okay.
What's the crucial moment during combine? It was maybe the 3rd shooting. Did you look after Murray shooting?
No, I was really trying. I always have a problem looking where everybody else is. So this time I was just focusing on myself and trying not to look. The only time I really looked around was on the after the last shooting, and to see where Laura was. She's very, very quick. So I knew I would have to run hard to stay in front of her. So.
But it seems it's not so difficult for you, no?
Well, I mean, I ran a little bit better than I thought. I'm very tired, but I think we're all tired, so I don't know who is running better.
Yeah, thank you so much. Congratulations. Yeah.
And congratulations indeed to Margot Isaacson. As she said, won it on the shooting, and that's where Samantha Murray lost it. 36 seconds, the deficit. Isaacson trailed Murray going into that event, but she made it up with plenty to spare. Laura Asadowskaite, well, you always knew she was going to be on the podium. It was just a matter of which colour. Silver on this occasion. And Katie Burke, who we heard just wanting to finish in the top 10, she's done much better than that, 3rd place. Another of the fiercely talented young Brits getting the better of her compatriots on this occasion, the 23-year-old, and that will boost her world ranking, number 40 going into today's event. Another podium finish for Burke, who finished 2nd in stage 3 back in 2010, but this another very good performance from her. So it's been another fiercely competitive event in the women's modern pentathlon. We saw a very tight finish 1 month ago. Not quite so close on this occasion, but a surprise nonetheless. And there's another name to look out for. Margot Isaacson, coming of age in Brazil. And given that she's just 21, what odds that in 3 years from now, when the Olympic Games takes place here for the first time in a South American city, that we will see Isaacson vying once again for top position? Could we be looking at an Olympic gold contender? She's got time on her side, she's got the ability. And she's certainly proven she's got the nerve. And there'll be a lot of disappointment for Samantha Murray and her supporters. She had a huge lead, 34 seconds, very big at this stage of proceedings going into the combined. She was banging form, brilliant year last year. On paper, this should have been her victory. Things don't always go according to plan, and they didn't on this occasion. Really struggled on the shoot. Was it nerves? Was it expectation? Looking over her shoulder slightly as well. And for Samantha Murray, this was a missed opportunity. Misses out on the podium. And Priscilla Oliveira, who'd done extremely well to go into the combined in second place. Good showing from her overall. So after the fencing, the swimming, the riding with an unfamiliar horse, we saw how much that took its toll on the competitors, and then the combined shooting and running. Was it a test of nerve that it ultimately decided this year's Rio de Janeiro champion? It was Margot Isaacson. And looking back, that flawless performance in the riding, one of only 2 on the day. Just how important was that in sealing her victory? Quick over the ground, faster even than the great Laura Asadowskaitia. Victoria Tereshuk off the pace somewhat, but burst through in the latter stages there to take 4th place. Murray folding somewhat, but 5th place, still a pretty respectable finish for her. Looking down the field. And some of the performers who really struggled in the riding section. Savchenko, Buriak, Rublievska, Vega, all below 1,000 points. Racking up the penalties on the horse. No points in the riding for Stern and Zhu, but they made up a little ground in the combined, saving some pride. More than could be said, though, for Elodie Clavel, who was a non-finisher. So the sun getting ready to set in Rio de Janeiro. Second city in Brazil, no longer the capital, but going to be centre stage in 3 years' time. Rio, the first South American city ever to host an Olympic Games, and they'll be going over the same course that we've just seen. What an opportunity to get some experience that will stand them in great stead come 2016.